Last week, while I attended Adepticon, I went along to the Games Workshop reveals and was not disappointed. There was many beautiful things they showed off, many new and exciting projects in the work that I cannot wait to get my paws on. Paws being the operative word, because as we were leaving the event, there was a table with some very kind people handing out this. A simple white box with a wolf symbol, and it says, "For Russ and the Allfather." Inside of this contained the first new Space Wolf miniature for an entirely revamped range, and that range is something that I'm going to talk about in today's video, as well as building and painting this awesome new figure. I think there's a big surprise in store and I'm going to talk about it today. So let's get into it. Okay, and here is the awesome box set that we did get given at the door, containing one of the new Space Wolf characters. My guess is that this miniature will be the model of the month that they give away free in stores the month that Space Wolves comes out. That's just an educated guess. So if you really want to own this particular sculpt, I reckon that's how you're going to get your hands on them. Now, I believe it is a Grey Hunter, so I'm going to paint it accordingly. I will be going into more detail about how I do Space Wolves, obviously when the new Space Wolf box set is released and all those extra bits and pieces to go alongside it. Space Wolves is a very important and very exciting part of the lore currently. Space Wolves have had a rough time of it the last little while. They have been attacked many times, and many of these times have been by the Imperium. So they may be a little bit more cynical to the kind of plights of the Imperium than kind of other Space Marine chapters might be. I, for one, have always believed that the Space Wolves have the potential to go renegade, not chaos. I don't mean they will turn to chaos. I just mean they will turn their back on the kind of hierarchy of the Imperium, and they will be more likely to kind of do their own thing. They're kind of unleashed, if you will, you know, serving their own kind of goals, which of course is going to be defense of mankind and all that kind of jazz. I just don't think if Terra calls, they'll come rushing in at a moment's notice. That's just a random theory that I have, but you know, I think it might track with how the Imperium has treated them in the last little while. Okay, let's dive into what is not a theory, and that is, of course, Space Wolves are getting quite a large range refresh. Now, obviously, officially, we have only seen the new battle box so far, the new army box that has been announced for them, and that will hopefully be available sometime soon. It contains 10 new Grey Hunters, 10 new Blood Claws, 3 amazing looking wolf guard head takers, and each one of those comes with a Fenrisian wolf as well, so each one kind of has his accompanying wolf, which will be glorious. I feel like we're gonna have those moments in games though when like a wolf guard loses his puppy and he goes kind of insane and ends up killing. Hopefully there's a crazy rule that they get really annoyed when their wolves die and like get even stronger in combat. That would be really cool and really realistic. Like the John Wick movie franchise is built on this entire concept, so I think it has some grounds to stand on, or some legs to stand on. Included as well is, of course, the new Wolfguard Battle Leader, which is the equivalent of their lieutenant. And I'm really glad to see this because, you know, the Space Marines didn't have enough lieutenants as it was, and we were quite sparse on the ground with those. So it's great to have an extra one to lean on and to be able to build and paint. I'm just joking, you know what I'm talking about. But this one is particularly stunning, and he is like the new kind of multi-part one that Games Workshop brought out. He has loads of different options, whether you want him to have a shield, axe, hammer, unhelmeted head, loads of different options for that, different back pieces, cape, no cape. He's got loads of stuff, and he does look kind of, I don't know what to say. He's not like a minimalist model. He is quite detailed, but he's not like super crazy imposing. I think he will suit being lieutenant in a Space Wolf armor really well. He's not going to like be crazy stand out on the tabletop, but he will just look really nice as a figure. He's one of the ones that I'm most excited to paint in the new box set. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that model. And then, of course, we move over to the Wolf Priest. The Wolf Priest is just such a standout piece for me because of one of the head options. He has 3 head options. One is a beautiful, obviously, the traditional Wolf Priest skull helmet with the wolf skull helm. And then there's 2 unhelmeted heads. Now, one of them is one of the most gnarly looking Viking-esque heads. He's got a big plaited beard, bald head. He looks insane. And I, for one, cannot wait to paint him up using that head, of course. Now, those are the things we know are coming, but I don't know whether this came across when they did the reveals online, but when we're sitting in the audience listening to the guys on stage talking about the Space Wolves, they talked about being one of the largest Space Marine refreshes they've ever had. They said there's something like 11 Space Wolf kits coming to refresh the range. And I'm trying to go through it in my head what 11 Space Wolf kits would be. And my mind can only keep referring to one concept, that if they're doing that much refreshing, to me, that can only mean one thing. Now, this is just a pinch of salt. This is just my speculation, but I think the wolf might be making his return now. I mean, I think it would make a lot of sense considering we now have on the bad guy side, if you will, 4 large demon Primarchs have returned. And that is a menacing sight on the tabletop and something that's quite terrifying to try and deal with. On the good guys side, we have, of course, got the Lion and Gulliman. So those 2 versus that 4 seems a little bit unmatched, and I think we're going to have to bring a little bit more ferocity into the good guys side to help stem the tide of chaos. And for me, the only one I can think about to do that is, of course, the wolf. I think it would make a lot of sense in the lore, and I, for one, if I am right, and if this is the case, and he is returning, oh my god, can you imagine what that model is going to look like? I feel like he's going to come back with 2 crazy big giant wolves as well, echoing his time in the Horus Heresy when he had those 2 character wolves fighting alongside him. I hope that's the case, and I hope we do get them. But even if that's not the case, let's just scratch him off, okay? Let's say he is going back. That's 10 kits left. Inside the box set, there's 5 kits if you take them all separate. You got a Grey Hunter kit, Bloodclaw kit, the Wolfguard kit, and then the 2 characters. That's 5. Including the wolf, that's 6. There's still 5 more kits. Can you think of 5 more kits that they will get? Do you think they'll go down the route of giving us things like Sky Claws or Swift Claws or new Long Fangs? I mean, new Long Fangs make sense. I don't know if they'll bother giving us Swift Claws or Sky Claws or anything like that. I can't really see it. Will we get a new Space Wolf vehicle? I, for one, have truly always disdained their flying boat. It never resonated with me as being cool. I always thought it was kind of goofy looking. So I don't know whether they're going to redo that or do a different version of that. It would be pretty cool in my opinion. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this. If you can think of 11 kits. We already know what 5 of them are. 6 if I'm right and the wolf is returning. So if you can think of 5 additional Space Wolf kits, please let me know in the comments below what you think those are going to be. While you're down there, make sure you give this video a like and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Doing those 3 things costs you nothing, but they make a huge difference at how many people see these videos and how quickly and strongly the channel does grow. If you otherwise to help support the channel is, of course, becoming a channel member here on YouTube or going over and supporting us on Patreon. Those 2 things get you a bunch of extra benefits, such as access to a private Discord server. And on that Discord server, we host events like monthly painting challenges, painting competitions, and other showcases like that. So you're all welcome to join in those if you become a member. And you get an extra video every single week just for you guys. So if those are just 2 of the reasons to join those 2 things, I suggest clicking on them down below. If you're an avid purchaser like me, you're a shopaholic, we have affiliate links in Element Games in the UK and My Hobby Place over in Europe. So if you are in England, use the Element Game link, jump over to their website, purchase your Games Workshop stuff, your Star Wars Legion stuff, or whatever, your paints, glues, tools, all those things, and they will deliver them to you. You'll get quite a nice discount by purchasing through them, and the channel will get a nice little kickback as well. No extra cost to you whatsoever. And the My Hobby Place, if you're outside of the UK, inside of Europe, and you want to do the same, you get up to 20% off Games Workshop kits, which is a huge saving. And obviously, you get a kickback to us, which is really helpful. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, learned a little bit about Space Wolves, and I'm really keen to hear what your thoughts are on the returning kits for Space Wolves. So I'm very excited for these releases.